Hi, guys. Ricky Pope here from the Christian Nerds Unite podcast. On the show, we dive deep into our nerdy fandoms and look at them through the lens of our faith by chatting with Christian content creators and experts who love comics, science, video games, media, sci-fi, and fantasy, discovering how their faith shapes their creative work and their lives. You can listen on your favorite podcast app or find links to everything at ChristianNerdsUnite.com.
Grady Powell, host of Forged in Fire.
Kyle Mann.
I'm J. Warner Wallace.
Kira Davis.
This is Ben Adams. Hey, this is Dave Baker.
Carrie Pomeroli.
This is Mike Reiner.
This is Ethan Nicole.
This is Liam Morgan.
This is Graham Parker, the 5th GP, and this is why you should never.
How I got suckered in.
I'm so embarrassed that I'm here.
You're wasting your time. You got better things to do.
Never listen.
Those darling, yummy Reverend and the Reprobate.
Go.
On today's Sweet Clean Airwaves FWIP
Let's go. Sheesh.
is the
Isn't that the right? That's the right.
no,
I did,
no, that's
I didn't do it right.
terrible.
No.
I don't think sheeshing should be a thing.
No, I don't think it is anymore. Frankly.
well, thank
it
goodness.
died pretty quick.
Yeah, well, praise
I will,
him for that.
I will be reminding my son's generation
Of while you're working on
of the
gathering
very cool sheesh.
while you're working on gathering Riz, we've got with
yeah.
us.
No. I've got Riz. That's
We've
not
got
a problem.
with us today.
In fact, I was risen up my homegirl at home the other day.
He is risen.
It can't.
That's that voice that you hear is Dave Trosko. He is the voice
Also-
of your child's childhood
How did we not?
because he's in every
Hold on.
anime ever.
Hold on. It was right there.
What?
He is risen.
Yeah,
It was right there. How did we not?
we avoided it intentionally.
Well,
Yeah.
I did not even notice it.
Jesus has Riz, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is short
Has
for
been
what?
Riz.
Yeah. He's
And-
been Riz.
And is currently Riz.
Forever shall more be
Forever
Riz,
shall more be
risen,
Riz, yeah.
risen, Rizzin.
Well, the Riz master Dave Trosko
Is
is
this
here to
the
educate
Stone
us
has
on
been rizzled away.
Do you want
That's
a
so
lot
terrible.
of distance from this?
Is it really bad?
of giving Jesus Riz.
Yeah, is it really bad or is it funny?
So Riz is like
What is Riz? I don't even know what Riz is.
okay, yeah. So it's short for charisma, but it's only used.
It's the brand new thing.
Yeah, it's only used like
at this
in
point, if
reference
I've heard
to
about it, it's old.
a guy that like has game.
It's short for charisma.
Oh.
Yeah,
So you couldn't be like, I am a pastor. I am a Riz
Master.
Christian pastor.
I mean maybe like I might have been whenever I was single.
I would
but
say
it's
you-
definitely not something that I would.
say you have Riz.
put on the resume now that I'm a married pastor.
Look, take out the word
It's
Riz.
not synonymous with charisma. It
is. That's what I was
It's
saying.
a offshoot of charisma.
Yes,
It's a-
specific
it's a-
type of charisma that means you get dates.
Yeah,
Oh,
that is
dates.
true. But you have a wife.
We don't.
You Riz her up.
I Riz to the
No.
occasion.
I did find out the Riz is a
I'm
verb also.
occasionally Riz.
I occasionally Riz too.
Not as much as I used to be, though.
Yeah, I'm not cool anymore either.
The kids killed the Riz.
Yeah.
So Dave,
Oh,
you
I'm so happy with this conversation.
you
My son is gonna hate it.
oh for sure because it's a really busting conversation.
About 90% of the people that watch my shows are going to hate this conversation too.
So great.
yeah.
What is it because of? Is it because of what we have scheduled to get into, or
I
or
think
just
that might be
beginning?
part of it, but yeah, I mean that and just probably they don't. Listen
Okay,
to
so
this sort of
what
thing.
we
Hey,
thought about like
let's
going
jump
through
right
your
in.
IMDb page,
Let's
but
jump
there's
right in,
like
both feet.
200 different shows that you're credited with. I think
Right.
the big one, at least for me, as far as like my consciousness of anime, and that of my
hero of
13-year-old brother-in-law is My Hero Academia.
Yeah, that is the big one.
Where
And
you play present Mike or present Mike?
so that's weird.
Yeah, yeah.
Definitely not prison Mike.
We all
No,
call
not
it,
prison Mike.
Everybody calls it present Mike, which then does get into the prison Mike,
Right.
You know, like
Oh,
the
for
office
sure.
scene, the office episode.
I am prison Mike.
Prison yeah. So yeah, and then there's been a bunch of like people that don't understand present Mike, and then they're like, oh, it's President Mike. No, it's not President Mike.
I have seen President Mike.
There's that little
That was a red
faction
herring.
of anime folks that are like, oh, it's Presentation Michael.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's one.
For the
And I said,
grandmothers
well,
in the
I guess for all the moms that watch anime that are really like upset with the things your character does, they're like, "Excuse me, presentation, Michael, please."
Presentation, Michael, get in here right now. Yeah, I guess that's what
We
his
don't
mom-
use apostrophes and
But then I said, well, Mike is usually abbreviated or shortened to MIKE.
Right.
And this is MIC and everything. It's MIC. So I don't think it's Michael. If it's presentation, Michael, it's probably
Microphone.
Michelangelo.
or microphone.
Or microphone,
Or,
yeah.
or Michelle. I mean, it's an MIC. Mick.
What do
Mickey?
you think it is?
I think it's, well, we
Present.
call it present Mike.
Michelle.
Okay.
But I think also...
Because the problem with this is it's in another language that we're translating.
Exactly.
Right. So we don't really know. Am I getting that right? Like
So they'll say, and we listen to a lot of the Japanese into finding out how a name's supposed to sound,
Right.
Yeah.
or how it's pronounced. Sometimes they roll the R, sometimes they don't roll the R, sometimes they tap the R. There's these different things. So present Mike, I think the reason we call him present Mike and not present Mike is because the original Japanese tracks all sound like presente, which sounds more like,
present.
Present.
Yeah.
rather
Yeah.
than present. And we had that issue. I directed a show called All Out, which is a rugby anime. Great show, wholesome show.
Awesome. It's about, of course, it is. It's about rugby.
It's about rugby, and it's about kids playing rugby. It's pretty much one of the only wholesome shows I ever got directed, because once they found out I was a Christian, I started getting all the here's the lesbian sex demons that live in hell things. It was kind of fun.
Really?
I got to sign.
You're talking
those.
about cartoons? That were
Cartoons,
sent to you?
yeah, cartoons, yeah, or anime, I
Yeah.
believe. They get mad if you call them cartoons.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
I know you're mad.
For the record,
Okay,
I
yeah,
think
yeah.
it should be stated that
Yeah.
both of us, but I'll just speak for myself at the moment, am not cool. I am not cool.
No.
Okay, neither
It's
am I.
definitely in terms of cartoons versus anime versus whatever. To me, I'm an old dad. They're all cartoons.
Yeah.
We go to these anime conventions, and these kids, they come up with all these terms like, "Oh, that's canon."
Yeah.
What does that mean? Canon? Can you shoot something out of it? Oh, no, canon means that it's like officially part of
It's canonical.
the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it is. Yeah, it's canonical or canonical.
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 Yeah.
Canonical. I like that though.
I do like that.
That's maniacal
Which-
and canon.
Canonical became a very big issue for Tina Belcher in Bob's Burgers.
I love me some Bob's Burgers.
Anyways, to go back to the rugby story, we directed this whole show, and we're looking at rugby positions, which I didn't know anything
Oh,
about.
yeah, for sure.
Really. And there's like wing and hook and a couple of other things.
Puncher.
I'm sure there's a puncher guy. So, but in Japanese, we were listening and goes, oh, wingu,
Yeah.
hooker.
Right.
And you're like, oh, winger, hooker.
Yeah.
Okay, those are the positions.
Yeah,
which,
way different.
Yeah,
So-
and then we recorded with like winger and hooker, which was really funny during a couple of them, as you could probably imagine. It's
For
like, I'm
sure.
the best hooker in this league, and you're like, well, all right, probably shouldn't be too proud of that.
Might want to
scale back a little
check
bit.
that.
And it wasn't
Yeah.
until it was like cut, print, sent out, put on DVD, and blasted out that they're like, oh, we made a little mistake, and I think we need to go back and change all the wingers and hookers to wings and hooks.
Yeah. So is there not a
So is that like a
person-
reshoot?
Is there not a translator that's there to say, hey, this is what they're talking about?
There are, but it
no,
goes
like,
through
official-
several different layers of there's the property comes in, they get it translated,
Yeah.
and then the translation goes to the writer, and the writer then looks at the mouth flaps of the characters.
Just like
Okay.
Rick,
So they'll
Rick
take
and
the
Morty.
transition, because we don't reanimate anything,
Right.
And it's all
Unlike Frankenstein.
no, yeah, unlike that's a good one, man.
Thank you. Well, thank you.
I'll come in all day with the dad jokes. But yeah, Yeah, that totally derailed me, man. What was I even talking about?
That
You
actually,
were talking about the mouth flaps.
mouth
That they
flaps.
look at the mouth
Yeah.
flaps.
also, that actually is my specialty on the show,
Well,
is
that's good.
derailing.
Yeah, derailment.
This is gonna
My
be
whole
a-
job is to derail that.
We were
man
gonna
right
go
over
for a
there.
tight hour 15. It may be a messy 2.5.
Yeah, could be. Could be.
If I do my job, yeah.
Good luck, worship practice.
Sorry, guys.
Okay, mouth flaps.
So mouth flaps are basically the movements of the character's mouth.
Sure.
Yeah.
We don't reanimate, so basically they have to take the Japanese and stuff it into the mouth.
which is a tradition as old as cinema, frankly.
Yeah. I mean,
Like I remember Godzilla. I'd go rent one from Blockbuster, which the kids have no idea what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I'd get a Godzilla home. I'd pop in the VCR again. No idea what I'm talking about.
yeah, and then that was
And I'd see
always
their
the
mouths running out here. He's coming, and it doesn't match up at all.
well, like
and
like,
that wasn't
Kung
that
Fu
wasn't
Enter the
animated.
Fist. That movie with Steve Odenkirk.
Oh, so great.
Such a great movie, but they played that part up where it's
Yeah.
like stop, and his mouth just keeps on moving
Yeah.
or whatever. And then Wayne's World did it too. Yeah.
Maker of Thumb Wars, which is vastly underrated.
Thumb. I prefer
all of
Frank
the-
and Thumb.
I'll say all of the thumbs.
That was
There's
my
so many
favorite.
thumb movies.
So my dad bought me that.
You don't know what I'm talking
whole
about?
DVD
no,
collection.
I hate them all.
Oh, I love them.
You can't. Wow.
Yeah,
love 'em.
I think the next thumb movie that's made
Nah,
that's
dude.
funny will be the first.
Nah, dude, they're so good.
That's
You-
that's
you just-
vaguely
you're just
inappropriate.
wrong on that,
but
bro.
That's okay.
We enjoyed them a lot in college.
Yeah.
Yeah.
However, we had accompaniments with those
Yeah.
movies.
They
that-
had some
that,
accoutrements.
accoutrement that helped us enjoy.
Some escargot and some wonderful flown in.
Yes, a
from
little
Colum-
charcuterie
from
before it was
Columbia.
invented.
Yeah, likely. Likely they're eating snails in college. that's really. What do you guys want to have tonight? Do you want pizza? No, I'd like some French snails if anybody's
I
got
would say
them.
that we got derailed, but I don't even think we even got on the
Yeah,
train.
no.
man.
So back to the mouth flaps.
I'm doing my job
Yeah,
proactively.
so you got to match up. The writer's job is to basically take the translation to match it up with the mouth flaps of.
Yeah,
the animation
and
that's
so there's
been
all
given
these
to you.
different levels, and then the director has to take it, and we give it to the actor, and they've never seen it before. Most of the time, they don't get the scripts ahead of time, and we go straight in the booth. It's always an individual actor, one actor in the booth, and a director and a technician, and they go, and sometimes the words just don't fit, so we have to rewrite the line on the spot.
Right.
Or figure out how it is, or sometimes the actors just I speak really fast as an actor, so a lot of times they have to put extra words in so that I can match the beats of what's going on.
But with this character in particular, that's kind of his thing. Is like he's very high energy.
Oh yeah,
He's
And
the best hooker.
He's the nope. This is not. We're off the hookers, Dan. We're talking about like President Mike. He's like the DJ of the school. He's very high energy. Kind of runs like the MC for a lot of their things and his what is it? The quirks are their superpowers.
yeah. So he gets to announce all the quirks for the
and
show.
and he's sort of also like a Black Bolt type character for Marvel fans. That like his voice is his superpower.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's got the like supersonic thing, blow up buildings with his voice. That's his big yell. So that the original actor that was cast his name's Sonny Strait, and he's actually a Dentonite
That's an
as well.
awesome name.
It is. So he actually is the guy that did the voice for the Toonami guy in the rocket
Really?
ship. I can't remember what his name was, but he's done. I mean, my first audition ever, like when I was 17 years old, was with Sonny Strait as a director.
So you started voice acting when you were 17.
Yeah.
How did you?
Yeah.
Yeah, how did that happen?
Yeah.
That was
because like what we're 85 models, and I'm thinking you're kind of in that.
I'm in
range.
86. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
So
Where did we go wrong that you went right?
We really didn't. I mean, you're fine. I mean, I think everybody's
don't
got their
feel
own
fine.
thing.
We're not fine.
I'm
hurting and
we still haven't found our thing.
I've stopped eating sugar, but I had a couple yesterday.
I had a
today.
couple.
Had a couple of sugars.
make it
It's
sound like
all
you
appearances,
relapsed.
guys. Because
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, so at 17, when we're schlepping our guitars and stuff down to Deep Ellum, you're looking at voice acting. What made you want to do that?
well, I was an
How did
actor.
you get into it?
I mean,
Okay.
I started acting, and that's what I wanted to do. And I was pretty good.
Okay.
I mean,
Obviously. But you can't get gigs if you're
Were
not
you-
pretty good.
Were you a theater geek?
no, I was a theater. Yeah, I was a theater guy.
That's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, not
That's
a geek
cool.
though.
I think I missed
was the
out.
coolest guy in the
I think I
theater.
missed out on theater stuff.
No, I started in Washington State, and I got really involved in a Christian youth theater program there when I was kind of in my 13, 14, 15 range. And then we moved to Texas during that time, and it was kind of my way to fit into high school. And I got involved in the theater there, and they were really impressed by me. And I didn't realize it, but I got a real big head really quick. Yeah. And I thought, well, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to be an actor. And I had the opportunity. My mom was like my agent, you know, right. And my manager and
good
everything.
Old momager.
She was looking up auditions all the time for me. And I didn't do very many outside of school because high school theater was, you know, as most people know, it's all encompassing pretty much if you get involved in a production there.
Right.
This was an opportunity to go do a voiceover for a unknown company at the time. Funimation was kind of like low man on the totem pole. They had Dragon Ball Z, which everybody kind of knew that, but that was about it.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, we had Tiffany Vollmer on, who was the voice of Bulma for Dragon Ball. Or she was the original voice of Bulma for Dragon Ball Z, and she was kind of talking about some of the same stuff that you were about the translation and all of that stuff.
Culminates in Denton.
She was in Dallas.
There's not according to her story. Her story was, if I remember correctly, that she was going through someone's window in Denton.
Oh yeah, maybe so.
There's probably Sunny Straits.
A tie. Yeah, there's some tie.
Probably so.
There's a tie in Denton with anime.
It sounds like Sunny
Japanese
Straits
anime.
is the tie-in.
It could be.
Yeah. So, but she was talking about, you know, overcoming some of those same things because with Dragon Ball Z in particular, it was one of the first times that somebody had really tried to do that and to make this transition, especially with something that wasn't for kids. Whereas like you saw with Pokemon, but that's made for children who
really
are way more,
juvenile.
who are way more, I think, accepting of new ideas and things like that. But Dragon Ball Z was really for like adolescents and for early 20s.
But even then, so this is back in 2004. I was going to go
2004 in the early aughts.
The early aughts. So
in the year of our Lord.
Yeah, it was
2004.
It was still nobody watched. None of my friends watched that stuff.
Right.
So when people are like, "Oh, you do voices for cartoons?" and I was like, "Yeah, you don't know any of the ones that I do."
Please.
Yeah.
And
get it right, please.
Yeah, excuse us. Yep.
Well, as a 17-year-old, I was like, "Yeah, I do voices for cartoons," because that's what people knew. I wasn't going to say like, I don't even think people back then I think still called it Japanimation.
Oh, for sure.
I remember Japanimation.
For sure.
I don't think they called it anime yet.
Those are all the boomers. Whatever, boomer.
Man, I don't know.
They
were
Gen
like
Xers.
but there were
Boom.
segments like late night on
Boom
Cartoon
Xers.
Network that it was the Japanimation hour and things like that was how they were.
That was I think the Toonami thing.
Yeah.
Or at least that's where it started from.
Toonami.
But it was. So I would tell people that I'm, doing voices for shows. And granted, the first 2 years of me doing voices, I was like boy in blue shirt in Full Metal Alchemist, or like some rando guy falling off of a train, and a couple of small.
I think I would have been good at that.
Boy in blue shirt.
No, guy falling off a train.
I think
You're
you've got it.
for
Yeah,
it
you
right
kind of
now.
got boy
Yeah,
in
you
blue
look
shirt
great.
pulled off.
Man, I missed the joke there.
Wow, that's really great.
Go ahead. I missed that one. I went for the guy falling off the train, but clearly, whatever.
Boy in
Go
blue
ahead.
shirt is
Go
like
ahead.
warrior speed.
It took about 2 years to get decent at it, but there's so much that is different now, because back then, one, it started with reel-to-reel recording. Then two, we would get the whole property in at that time. So you had like 24 episodes to record, and they'd be like, "Oh, we need you for 8 hours, and you're going to record with this character for the entire season of this show." Right. Now there's this simuldub thing where we're literally getting properties in from Japan. The next day that they air, we get the stuff, and within a week, we've got the next episode up, recorded, done, and going.
Wow.
So whereas it used to be like, if Present Mike was a character back in the early 2000s of a show, I would have maybe made amount of money doing it, because they'd be like, "Oh, we need you for 4 hours at $35 an hour." Yeah. And I'm like, "Okay, cool, sweet, $140 bucks,
But
But now I go in and it's a 15-minute session for 2 lines of President Mike because he's announcing 2 new characters. And I got a 2-hour minimum and a higher rate and everything else. So every single week we get paid way more than we used to, which is great.
Sure.
For us, I guess. But
Yeah. And it's not like they aren't making money off of it with
that's
this.
how they
Whoever
is.
that they is, and whether it's Funimation or the streaming services or whoever it is now, right?
Well, that was the rumor why Sony bought Funimation in the first place, because they bought Funimation and then they merged with Crunchyroll, was because anime was the only fan base that had a growing DVD sales market, because most of the anime fans were collectors and they were actually buying the physical DVDs, where every other DVD was just, production company was just going down.
It's weird that this seems to exist sort of only in places of nerddom, right? Because like the other big area where you're seeing this is that people are reluctant to go to digital comics, because the secondhand comic market with the collectors and people like that is still really huge. And so you've got, Marvel and IDW and DC that are still printing stuff when newspapers are now primarily online. Like, you don't see those being tossed around every day. And almost every other source of print media is out of there. But in these little pockets of nerddom, they're like, no, we still need the physical thing. I still want the game.
Yeah, it is.
It's strange.
There's
it's countercultural
a romance
still,
to that, I think. I mean, I'm in the wine industry too, and there's like
Sure.
a romance behind how to quaff a perfect, glass of wine, or how to decant and all these other stuff. So it's like, if you care about something that much,
how do you quaff a perfect glass of wine?
We'll go into that later.
Okay.
we'll put the quaffing up on the table.
I have tried blending a bottle of wine to activate the tannins.
I don't know if that activates the
All right,
tannins.
well, there you go. There you go. Also, it broke my blender, so it didn't do a good.
Wait. Blending in a blender?
Yeah, blender.
I thought
yeah.
you meant blending like, I'm going to mix
No,
some of this
dude.
Chardonnay
No,
with some
no,
of this
No, it was a
Cabernet.
Ninja Chef.
Yeah.
It was 1,500 RPM.
Well, that
And
that'll do something to the wine for sure.
What it did was it broke my pitcher, and I had to buy another one.
How did you break your pitcher with the wine?
Because
He over aerated it.
No, I cranked it to 11, and there was just a little bit of liquid in it, and I think it spun too fast and it broke it.
It went one louder and died.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But yeah, there's like that romance,
Just
like
like with your thermometer.
holding a comic book in your hands and reading
Everything I
it,
know.
and just there's also that nostalgic feel, I'm sure,
Right.
for most of them too. But I mean, I'm the same way with scripts. A lot of times, scripts get sent to me and it's on a phone. I'm like, can I just print this out so I can hold
I would
it?
like to have it.
What about when you're reading? If you read a book, what do you prefer?
Oh, a book. Absolutely. I need to feel how far I've gone.
Is it a hardback, if possible?
It
or-
depends.
Okay.
It depends on the story. I think I prefer a hardback. Actually, I don't know. I don't know
Have
what
you read
I don't have a
Stormlight by
preference.
Brandon Sanderson?
No.
Okay, that's fantastic.
You might dig it, but
I just finished
We'll stop there.
The Science of Sound by Chuck Palahniuk. I think that's the right. No, the Invention of Sound by Chuck Palahniuk. It's page burner, man.
Is he a sound engineer?
No, it's a story. It's pretty dark. It's a story about a Foley artist
I like Foley.
chick who
Wilhelm scream.
Well, let's see if I can put this in a nutshell real quick, because it's very convoluted. But she's basically trying to record the perfect scream, and by doing that, she's basically murdering people.
oh yeah, right.
And this,
As you do.
And this guy is also at the same time looking for his daughter, who's been missing for several years, who was abducted, and pathways crossed.
She was like, she was on take 10.
Yeah. No, that's how he
like,
hears
"That
a
sounds
movie
like-
and
that
he
sounds
hears
like
his
my
daughter's
daughter."
scream, and he's like, who recorded this
How
scream?
bizarre.
And he's trying to go find this woman.
And it's the sound engineer.
And it's the
has
Foley
been-
artist, yeah.
Wow.
So it's a great book, page burner, 225 pages, really fast, easy read, but man, it was a good book. Promotion. Wow.
The Sound of Silence.
No, the
By
Invention
Disturbed.
of Sound.
The Invention of Sound.
By Disturbed.
Yeah,
also.
so where were we?
I
The Invention of Sound. No, you're talking about having the things in your hand, like the physical copies of stuff,
Yep.
really has generated this sort of extra pocket within sort of the nerd community. Do you think that it has something to do with, like, from an artist perspective, right? That there is something romanticized about, like, having the physical copy of it, having the script? Because if I read a digital book, I will read the book much faster. but I don't enjoy it as much as flipping the page and turning it over. And there's something about that that like is relaxing.
I get that.
It has the binge part of it.
Yeah.
For DVDs, obviously, you can just put the DVD in. There's no ads or anything popping up, and
Sure.
It's very simple. Plus, you get all the content too. That's another big thing.
Mm-hmm.
So we would do a lot of talkbacks, and we do a lot of rewatching the show. What do you commentary?
Yeah,
That's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Commentary on episodes and things like that. That would add to the value of having the DVD. But the thing that I think the most is you can have a DVD signed. You can't have your Funimation subscription signed.
That's true.
So
because
that's the majority of the things that people will bring. Now it's the pops, too.
Right.
The
You
pops
can't say I have.
Which you do have a pop.
after. Can you believe it? 19 years of doing voices for,
And you finally got a pop.
I finally have one pop.
And I have heard through the grapevine that it was quite the controversial gift at the White Elephant.
Oh, you must have spoke to Mike. It broke up our small group, I think. I don't know who's going to hear this.
We have infiltrated your small group. That's just true.
Yeah, no,
The Rev and Rep, we do extensive research and infiltrate as many small groups as possible.
yeah, we're like what's the guy's name? Narwad, Norward or whatever his name is. You know what I'm talking about?
What are you talking about?
Yeah, so he's this Canadian interviewer who goes to interview rappers.
Oh yeah, that guy. And he pulls up like the most random.
Insane.
He'll just like say something and they're like, "Wait, how you know about that?" What?
Yeah.
Wait, that was my third grade teacher. Why do you know that? No, I'm not. And then it just
the limit on the gift was
Narward.
$10
That's what it
or
is.
$10
Yeah.
or $15. It was my idea to do the gift giving
Right.
thing.
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
It was like, what do you call it? Yankee swap or whatever, Chinese Christmas.
Yankee swap!
White elephant.
White elephant.
White elephant. Yeah. Sorry.
You were
So
thinking
we're
about
so
the office.
racist
You're
down here
thinking
in
about the
Texas.
office again.
Yeah, the Yankee swap.
Chinese Christmas.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, I'm not going to unpack that right now.
Because you,
Chinese Christmas is. I guess it's a take on communism. Is that what
no,
it is?
because you can take the
share
gift
it
back.
all, and then you take it, and you take what you need.
I don't even know where that came
Let's
from.
put that.
We're not going to analyze that
Let's
too
take
much.
all that and put it back in the box.
Yeah,
Yeah.
We'll seal
but
it up
that's
with
definitely
with U.S. tape.
The whole idea behind the White Elephant Christmas is also not a real flattering thing, because it was like, from what I understand, in India, where the elephant is thought of as sacred, right? What if you were king of a province and you really wanted to like stick it to another king? You would send them an albino elephant as a gift,
Because something that they can't reciprocate.
Yeah, well, no, they can't kill it. They're terrible to take care of. It's always got to be clean so that the people can come and worship it. And so, like, they would end up spending
that is good.
tons of money in order to try to keep these
better.
albino elephants clean. And so it was a gift that you would kind of give one of your enemies in order to try
Kind of
and
like getting a hot tub.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's exactly like a
Or a
hot tub.
boat.
Yeah.
Yeah, or a boat.
I mean, either
yeah.
way, it's pretty.
Here's a
Yeah,
boat.
That's a pretty
Yeah.
cool
Love you,
gift.
man.
That's
You
a
can have
cool
it.
gift.
You can have this
my boat.
You just got to keep the insurance and maintenance.
Keep the insurance,
and,
maintenance. Make sure you have like a $450 slip at the marina.
Just
that
say,
you pay
yeah,
once
you're gonna need a
month.
dock.
That's it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're gonna need to
that's it.
find that out.
Gas is, 5
see
times
you on
as
the
much
lake.
as you want.
Yeah, exactly.
And you have to buy it from the marina that,
Yeah.
that
I'll
charges
see you out there.
$25 a gallon. Yeah,
Maybe we'll
I would just
run into
fish
you.
from the dock in the boat. I wouldn't even take the boat out. I wouldn't even bother taking the cover off of it. I'd just sit on the back and fish
Yeah.
there. So,
But yeah, so
Yeah,
the
so
white
this
elephant,
white
gift,
elephant,
I thought, well, how appropriate. This doesn't cost me any money.
Right.
It's like a $10 gift.
right? But as soon as you sign it, it becomes $11.
Well, actually, it's,
I
believe it
wouldn't
or
be
not,
surprised
I
if it's
looked at
like
it, it's
way more than that.
$200.
Yeah, no doubt.
That's very insulting
But
to our guests.
I signed it, and then I because it was funny, and so Micah was there, Pastor
Yep.
Micah was there, and then a couple other folks, and when that one got opened, everyone started going for it, and I'm like, we're talking a bobblehead here, folks. Like, and y'all know me. Like, you guys can go buy one tomorrow, and y'all are my friends.
Yeah.
and I'll sign it for you.
Right.
it's fine. But oh man, there was some.
Oh, for sure. I would get into that too. I'd be like, no, there's a prize to be had here.
Yeah.
We would probably go toe to toe on that.
Well, I would just make sure that I had the second steal so it got locked.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's some strategy.
I think we
That's
did
what you gotta
3
do.
steals, and so
Whoa.
And I would
no, we
swoop
did.
in.
No, we did. It was 2 because Micah
you would
opened
win.
it up because he's like, I'll just pick up what Dave picked up because I think I got his gift.
Right.
I ended up with
Was it a foot massager?
a black Santa.
Was
Nice.
it an iPod video?
Which I love. I love the year prior. Micah's wife gifted 2 of these porcelain baby dolls with teeth and roller skates,
No.
dressed in Christmas attire.
No, thank you.
And I wanted them, and I got them.
Sure.
I stole them from a pregnant lady,
Right?
and
Good. She was
now every year I'm kind of bent on getting
the creepy gift?
the creepy. So I got, it was like this half stuffed, gross looking Christmas cat and a black Santa
Christmas
Claus
cat?
from the dollar store.
That's beautiful.
And I think there was another Christmas squirrel.
Do you think that like people are now purchasing these for your small group White Elephant to be like, which one of these do you think Dave is going to try to steal?
I know for a fact that the guy that brought the black Santa and squirrel and
Yeah.
Christmas cat had
you in mind?
He had me in mind. He
Yeah,
was
like the
he's "That's exactly
remember the
what I
space
wanted."
hamsters from the Quiznos commercials?
Yeah.
Yeah. Any coupon works. Like those. That's kind of what I feel like. You've just got a shelf of these like in your office.
What is a
somewhere.
Christmas cat? I just need to understand.
I don't know. I mean, it's a cat.
Is it black cat?
No,
It
I
sounds
believe
like a
it's
taxidermied cat with a
I
Santa
believe
hat
it's
on it.
tweed, a tweed-looking cat, shaped like a cat with no eyes,
That's not a Christmas cat.
but it has holly on its neck.
It sounds
It's
like a voodoo
technically-
doll with with holly on
Technically
its neck.
Christmassy.
Yeah.
That's a tweed cat with.
It does come to life in the middle of the night and terrifies the
nice.
children.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Christmas cat.
It is. Yeah, it's a cat on the
Tweed
shelf.
and it comes to life.
That's the inanimate objects that come to life are a theme in our show. We gifted a friend of ours.
I was about to bring that up.
We gave her. Did you ever read those Goosebump books when you were growing up?
All of them.
Okay, so
my
you remember
son-
Slappy?
Yeah.
Yeah. So her 5-year-old was obsessed with. They watched the Goosebump movie. Slappy comes to life. He's like, I want an evil ventriloquist dummy that comes to life. She's like, absolutely not. So uncles, the Reverend and the Reprobate, sent her this ventriloquist, and we're like, you can give it to your kid or you can't. She hated it, so she gives it to her son. He ends up having to go to the hospital, and
Because of the doll?
From
no,
stab
from some of the-
wounds.
Yeah, no, he ends up he ends up getting pretty sick, and so
no.
he's got to go to the
Yeah.
hospital. While they're at the hospital, he only wants to bring Slappy, the ventriloquist puppet. So that's his little his lovey that he's got in the hospital with him. When they come home, she's like rubbing his back, and he goes, can you make Slappy rub my back? And so she's like having to take the puppet hand and like rub his back and talk to him. Well, a couple of
threw
weeks
up in
ago,
my mouth a little bit.
Yeah, so a couple of weeks ago, he can't sleep, and so he goes to get Dad because he's now worried because Slappy's eyes glow in the dark that Slappy's going to come to life. And
Which
get him
we
in the
knew,
middle
and
of the
we
night.
told her
Yeah,
about.
we knew it would eventually happen. That this was what was going to happen.
By the
And
way,
so,
we did such a good job. The doll glows in the dark.
Yeah, so she doesn't know that any of this has happened.
Yeah.
She gets up to in the morning. She's going to the bathroom, opens the bathroom door, and her husband had just thrown the puppet in the bathroom to get it away, and so it is lying face down on the floor. And apparently, she opens the door to that as soon as she wakes up, and it just screams bloody murder. So
Yeah, that's appropriate.
just be careful with your Christmas cat because it could come to life and haunt you in different ways as it has Megan. So you are recording the voice for Present Mike.
Yeah, let's go all the way back.
You've been going to cons. You're getting to sign. You're getting
My
to
Hero
sign a lot
Academia.
of
Sign the
a lot
pops,
of
yeah.
you know, the
I
pops
don't
and
go.
those kinds of
I
things.
don't go to many, and we were gonna touch on that a
So
little bit. I got canceled.
this is why. Yeah. So how come you're
canceled,
not
dude?
on the con circuit anymore?
I don't know. I really don't know. Like honestly, because there was a couple cons that I was going to after I got canceled, and then and I got canceled on Twitter, which I don't know.
How'd you
if
get
that-
canceled?
Yeah.
Well,
so
is
let's
that
talk
even-
about
is
because
that
this
even-
is a
You can
this is a
Google it,
wild
but I
story.
would-
Is that even a thing anymore?
The problem with
Yes.
the Googling of the canceling is you get one side of the story.
Yeah.
And so it's a long story, but I'll try to shorten it. But
We
because
got
it
time.
basically starts with me experiencing stardom for the first time ever because of this character, Present Mike.
Right.
I've been doing anime for a long time, and nobody knew who the heck I was.
Right.
There was
And
a
you've been on
couple-
some huge animes prior to this one.
Right. There was Hetalia. That one was kind of known. There was High School Rumble. There was Seraph of the End, which I played pretty much one of the leads in. And there's also Black Clover, which just ended its run, and the movie just came out on Netflix. Netflix.
Yeah.
And
Ba-bum.
and I can say that, thank goodness there's no NDA anymore on that because it's out. But there was My Hero stuff is just huge, and it's
Yeah.
national.
Yeah.
and
Unbelievable.
It's international.
Yeah.
It's big. So I heard
fact,
somebody say that it was like the third biggest show, just like under Simpsons and SpongeBob.
Yeah, in animation.
In
yes.
animation.
In fact, the 6th season finale, I was looking this up earlier, was watched by over 2 million viewers in television, and then the 6th season's 5th episode garnered 3 million viewers just on one episode.
Yeah, so
on the day of
I got
release.
a lot
Yeah.
of press,
Right. Oh, for sure.
and my Riz was not on game for that because I was used to just being
Victory.
I
We
was
did
just-
it.
Hey, is that
We
the
did
word
it.
of the day?
Yeah, Riz.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I'll pick up all the references. We're all like 85, 86 babies. Right?
They were the same ones.
So yeah, I didn't know. I never cared about
Right.
how I presented myself out to folks, and I'm an unspoken, conservative, passionate,
Unspoken or outspoken?
outspoken,
Outspoken. Yep.
outspoken.
I'm
not
unspoken.
No doubt.
Outspoken conservative and
so
a
unspoken.
Christian.
Yeah.
And I got opinions, and I let people know them. And I tend to do it in a humorous way, or maybe sometimes after a glass of whiskey.
Sure.
And I'll go on Twitter, and someone says something dumb, and I'll tweet back something. And that was the other thing too. I didn't realize that
You're
when
pulling a
when
Pat
you
Sajak,
commented on
Richard.
something, I'm the part of the Facebook crew, right?
Right.
So like when you comment on somebody, you have to be friends with somebody else to see that comment, or you have to be like digging through that comment.
Yeah.
So I didn't realize on Twitter, it's like, hey, all of your fans can see exactly what you said to this other person.
The entire world, yeah.
Yeah,
And then
can-
they
can see
screenshot
what you're
it,
doing.
and yeah. Twitter is, I believe the word is cesspool.
So this is the tweet that got
So,
me.
you're Pat Sajacking.
I don't know what that means, but yeah,
Wheel,
maybe.
Wheel of Fortune?
Yeah.
Conservative guy.
Oh.
He does the same thing. I don't know if
Well,
it's,
I guess
don't know if
they
whiskey's involved,
they
but
just
it
all
probably is.
assume that every voice actor for anime just believes everything that they believe, like or
Yeah.
whatever. And because I had a different opinion on a couple of things, and it's not like I go out and I'm like swinging a sword. The tweet that got me, I think, in the most hot water, was so stupid. It was so dumb. So some Twitter follower said, "Please make a TikTok." Like have make a TikTok account,
Sure.
so that we can watch you do Present Mike stuff. And it was during the time when Donald Trump was like, "We're canceling TikTok. We're gonna ban it from America because we're giving all of our IP information over to China through it."
Yeah,
and there was all those things. My horrific, racist, xenophobic tweet was, "No, ... because China." Period.
Okay, so a reference on what the president
On a
was
reference
saying.
on what the president was doing, and also like hopefully. I realize you can't have people read it in the voice that you want them to read it in.
Sure.
Yeah.
But hopefully it was like, no, because China.
Right.
You know, like I wanted it to be read like that. Like it's a joke.
Yeah,
Funny.
yeah.
Haha.
Yeah, I get it.
And then there was another one. This is during the pandemic when everybody
Sure.
had nothing better to do. And
I
there was
remember
actually,
that.
Sense of humors were very low,
it was Sunny Straight
except for mine.
Yes.
Mine
wrote
was
something
pretty rock
his
rock hard,
Facebook, I believe it was.
rock hard sense of humor.
And he and Sunny Straight obviously was the original voice of Present Mike. I took
Right.
over for him because he got ill for 9 weeks, and then at the end he very graciously is like, "You know what, Dave's doing a great job with the role. I've got Usopp in One Piece. It's really hard to do that, and Present Mike and all these other things. So give Dave Present Mike." So
That's
respect to the
pretty
guy.
cool.
Really cool dude. He could have come in and said like 9 weeks is up. Yep, I'll record. Re-record and yada yada yada. But no, it was really really gracious, and I'm super grateful for him.
But
he posted this
thing,
thing,
made you fall down.
Yeah.
To say too, the both of us, like, our ideologies are completely different. Like,
Sure.
he's very far left, or I shouldn't say far left, but he's left. I'm
Left-leaning.
there.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
He wrote something like, maybe we should call this virus, because this was back when we were trying to name the virus, the Bible Belt virus, since we down here in the South have done nothing to prevent, stuff. And I'm paraphrasing, of course.
Yeah.
We're the worst down here.
Naturally.
Let's call it the Bible Belt virus. And I said, I believe it's appropriate to always give credit back to the original creator. And that's like a double entendre, because I'm like, I always give credit for Sonny Strait being the original voice of President Mike. I give credit to him and all these different things that he's done.
Right,
and we
sure.
always give Japan the credit for these shows, because we're the Mexican Homer Simpson. Like, we're like, we're secondary voices. So, and it's something that I've always said, and like, let's always give credit back to the original thing. I said that, and people are like, oh my gosh, he calls it the Chinese virus. He's teaching his kids all these bad things. He's got 2 children. Oh my gosh, we should save his children.
Who were like
It's all
not
pe-
even in
it's
school
all-
at the time.
These are all people on Twitter.
They're awful. And so
Yeah.
I went and I stupidly engaged.
Ooh.
And that's when things just went downhill real fast. And I quickly realized that and deleted everything and just like went whatever, which also then, they're like, oh, he's in hiding now.
Yeah.
He's scared. We did our job.
No, he realized the error of engaging
No,
in toxic.
It was really
back
bad.
forth.
And then
which I did one time. You caught me in.
I don't remember this.
I don't even remember what it was. I shouldn't have brought it up, but there was some lady that said something online. I got into it with her, and you were like, I was surprised you got into it. I'm like, yeah, I realized pretty quick. This is dumb. This is a dumb thing to be doing.
It's so hard not to. You want to.
Yeah.
Because people, you want to it's out of a good heart. Sometimes
you want to correct first off and say, hey, that's not what I was saying.
You should think about this a different way. But no, it never is. And in COVID, it was all like 18-year-olds. Like that's who feasted on me now. But now if I go on Twitter, anytime I post anything, someone comes out. Last week it was a 43-year-old woman. I wish I had her tag so you guys could go. Sure.
Let's pull up his Twitter.
I commented on a post about In-N-Out.
Yeah.
And
what is your take on In-N-Out?
I love In-N-Out.
Okay.
I love it. I'm not a Whataburger fan. I know it's a shame.
I'm not either. I know that's
think
a hot
Whataburger's-
take in
everybody's
Texas.
always the French fries at In-N-Out are awful. I'm like, have you had the French fries at Whataburger?
I like
They're
everything
terrible.
better at In-N-Out except for the breakfast burritos. The
Whataburger
taquitos.
does a good breakfast.
Yeah, I like the breakfast.
I'm a fan
I
of
also think
breakfast.
Whataburger sold, and they have not been the same since the new owners have gotten them.
you
They're
know what it
they're
is to
markedly
me?
worse, and we have been referring to them as Whataburger in our
well,
household
yeah.
these days because it's like
like
45 minutes.
They need to
get
hire the
anything.
Chick-fil-A dudes to help manage their
Everyone,
line.
Yeah, now that
everyone needs to
Chick-fil-A
hire the Chick-fil-A dudes.
I think they did that for the pandemic when they gave all the vaccines. They're like, how do we do this? Call the Chick-fil-A guy.
Yep.
My pleasure.
Yeah. Chick-fil-A now recently just hired their new head of diversity.
I saw that.
Yeah.
So In-N-Out just wrote a policy that bans masks worn by their employees unless it's accompanied by a doctor's note. So I'm like, good, because, one, we've had 3 years now of research where we've known that masks really didn't do anything, and a vaccine that really didn't do.
And if
much
someone's going to
either.
make my food at minimum wage, I'd like to at least see your face, just so I can know.
That's the thing that they say.
In-N-Out is not minimum wage. In-N-Out pays their employees really well.
It's a Christian company as
don't
well.
undermine, Don't undermine my concept.
No, but
I'm not. I'm trying to gently correct you, and so we're about to get into an online debate.
Feel free to poke holes in
Yeah.
whatever you see.
anyways, the In-N-Out thing, I thought, well, that's good. Because masks are really silly, especially if you're in customer service. Like, I want to see. And then there's the other whole thing of like, if you're sick enough to have to wear a mask to think that that's going to stop me from getting bacteria. I don't want you handling my food.
Yeah.
Right?
No doubt.
Yeah,
And
please,
that's all
please
I-
wash your hands and don't worry about the
That's
mask
what I
as
said.
much.
I said that. I said, if you're wearing a mask and you're working in food service because you're sick,
Wash your hands.
I don't want to eat there.
And then go home.
Yeah.
I don't want to go. I don't want to eat there because you're.
What
if
what,
you-
what do you think Fauci is doing right now?
who cares?
Yeah, that's what I think.
All right, good answer.
That's what I think.
Who?
I don't know, guys. It's a pretty.
I think he's
We
hiding.
did our
behind-
job. We messed everything up for 2 years.
Just 2 more years.
Yeah,
I think he's
just
hiding
wait.
behind a podium somewhere. But let's move on.
Think about running for president. I don't know.
I want to know about your cooking, your culinary exploits.
Oh yeah.
What is going on with that? What are you doing in the city of
So-
Dallas with your culinary exploits?
It all started from being an
How was that?
actor, right? Actors are waiters that care about their job. I think look more into the food, and I really was interested about the magic of the kitchen and the food in the back of the kitchen, and I started my culinary career kind of during my acting career too. And I just realized I'm like, I wanted a family, I wanted stability, I wanted a wife, I wanted kids. So that was much better than trying to zip from audition to audition and doing all this stuff. So I focused a lot on culinary. Now, let's see, I started that back in like 2010.
Like, did you get classical training, or is this all kind of
No.
self-taught?
Never paid tuition, only paid attention.
Wonderful.
I like that. That's good.
I'm stealing that. Good.
Yeah, I stole it too, and I've used it way too often. But I worked at great restaurants like Capitol Grill, Del Frisco's,
Almost went there.
Table 13.
We almost went there for our dinner.
Oh yeah,
Capitol Grill, and I looked at Del
That's so
Frisco's
good.
too.
It's so expensive.
We ended up on Cattleman's in Fort Worth. Just old.
I would have ended up at Albertsons and a grill in the
Well,
backyard.
this was somebody like he
This
was
was
given
yeah.
a bonus dinner of like, hey, here's some money, go have a night out.
All right,
on
well
the
then,
company.
if you're not paying for it, it is a great place to go.
Yep.
Yeah, and Cattleman's in Fort Worth, very cool.
Yeah, those are great spots. So I had the fine dining thing. I did the sommelier thing. I became a wine connoisseur.
Which is
Lonesome Dove. Have you heard of that? I almost went there too.
Tim's place.
Yeah, the celebrity chef.
celebrity chef.
But
Yeah.
sorry, go ahead.
Anyways, the culinary game got going in my life, and right before the pandemic, we opened up a food truck called Swine and Garden, which I'm actually
Hey, look at there. Yeah,
unintentionally wearing that shirt, but
Well done.
Pandemic kind of killed that when the beer bars like all got shut down, and that was
Yeah,
our
yeah.
main lifeline of business. So, I had been before that. I had been a culinary director for a restaurant group for Taverna Rosa for a 33 restaurant group in the area, and they had 2 locations, and I did that for a little bit. It was a great job, but now I am. We've kind of started Trosko Culinary up again after a couple of years of taking a hiatus, and what our focus and our passion right now is doing these speakeasy supper clubs.
Okay.
Ooh, I'm in.
So we,
Yeah.
it's such a fun way to dine.
What's the password?
Oh,
Weenus.
I can't tell you now.
Yeah. No, obviously.
A can of cream corn. Bring it to the door. Let us know. The idea was I wanted to get back in, but I also didn't want to do the chef life where I was working 80 hours a week,
For
70
sure.
hours a week, because I have 2 kids and I want to be present in their lives. And I'm 36. I got an 8-year-old and a 5-year-old, and they're awesome boys. And I wanted to just spend more time pouring into them. So that's part of the reason we got rid of the food truck too, was just because I realized it was taking away a lot, the weekly operation. So this was a way for me to do exactly what I loved doing, which was the beer dinners and the wine dinners and the pairing dinners and the 6-course tasting menus.
Right.
That's the best part of being a chef anyways. Is the worst part is the day-to-day grind. So I got to pick my favorite part of being a chef, and now we're really successfully doing it up. We do it up at DCBC, Denton County Brewing Company, up in Denton, partnered with Seth Morgan up there, and we do 6 courses and 6 beers, and it's a blast, and everyone's going great. We've sold out of our summer series and we're going to start a fall series soon.
Nice.
But the fun part is, and you probably like this, the last menu that we did was an adult kids menu.
Oh yeah.
We took the standard American kids menu, which is
Chicken
mac
fingers,
and cheese.
mac and cheese. Pizza's got to be on there.
grilled cheese,
Yep.
burger, hot dog,
Corny dog, something
So
like that.
we did.
Yeah.
The opening was a grilled cheese, but instead of a grilled cheese, it was a reverse.
It was
grilled
like
cheese.
it's a deconstructed grilled cheese.
It was a
It's-
reverse grilled cheese. The cheese was on the outside, and all the good stuff was in the middle. It was a sourdough focaccia bread
It
that
has
we
a
baked.
crumble on top.
It had a ham crumble on top.
See?
It was cool. Like I'll show you some pictures.
It sounds
was-
awesome.
And we did chicken nuggies. I did a pickle brine sous vide
chicken
chicken
nuggets.
breast that was coated in Parmesan, crispy Parmesan, and then it had like a hot honey glaze, and it was
sounds
so
wonderful.
good. But the star of the show, there was 2 stars. The one was this tenderloin Wagyu hot dog that we made out of Wagyu tenderloin.
Yeah.
Like way Gildan the Lily.
Yeah.
And then on the other end, we did a 100% brisket grind burger on a brioche bun with a slice of American cheese and some homemade mayonnaise with MSG in it.
Perfect.
And that was it. No mustard and mayo, or no mustard, there's mayo. No mustard, no ketchup, no lettuce, tomato, pickle. It was just meat, cheese, bun. And
It's
the look on
fat,
people's
fat.
faces. Oh, gosh.
Processed cheese.
Yeah.
American.
I had more people tell me that was the best burger they ever had in their life than any of the pizzas and burgers and things that I made while I was out working in the industry. The look on their faces when they would bite into this it was like a little 3.5 ounce burger.
It was like a slider.
I saw people
kind of.
have
bigger
it's a little bit bigger than a
this,
slider.
yeah.
Like almost, it was more than a quarter pound.
And this
but less
is
than a
one
third
of
pound.
6. So they've got a lot of food.
They've got a lot of food. This is how you knew it was good.
Mm-hmm.
It's this table full of 33 relative strangers. They may have seen them, and some of them knew each other. There's this girl on one end of the table, and she's like, I can't eat anymore. I'm full. It's so good. I just can't eat anymore.
Sure.
But I want to.
But
And
she
I'm
did.
clearing her plate, and this dude halfway down the table goes, if she's not going to eat that, I will. And like, she takes the
Total
burger, like, the
stranger?
half-eaten burger from a total stranger, and just goes. And I'm like, well, that's a testament.
Yeah, for sure.
I probably would too. What do you think? Is it the brisket, the ground brisket? Does that have anything? Is that the perfect combination of a patty?
This
Like,
particular brisket was fairly lean compared to other
okay.
briskets that I've gotten.
Did you have to add in fat?
No. Oh, no. You never have to add in fat for brisket. In fact, most of the time you trim
So it's a pretty lean
and you get rid of
hamburger
fat.
then.
No, not by any means. It is a fatty burger, but brisket has so much fat in it.
Mm-hmm.
If you were to grind the whole brisket, you'd probably get like a 60-40 meat
so
to
it's
fat
a
ratio
lot of fat,
sometimes.
too.
It's a
Yeah,
lot
okay,
of fat
okay, cool.
sometimes. So this one was a little bit less. I would say it was
That's why it's
probably
so
at the end it was
delicious
like a 70-30 burger, but it was fresh ground. Like I ground the brisket. It wasn't like I went to a butcher and did it. So, I can control the blend of the meat. I tell you, dude, it was like a meat cloud. Like it looked firm. It looked like it was going to be a nice chunky bite of meat, but you bit into it and it just
Melted.
the juices and just oh man. It was so
what I'm
good.
about.
I think right now brisket is actually cheaper than ground
Dude,
beef.
brisket
at,
is-
at some places.
Is not terribly expensive right now.
Yeah, I
I
just go get the meat.
I'm not
grinder.
doing Wagyu. I'm also not doing Prime.
No, the choice
Yeah.
just get the select and
Yeah.
it's fine. It's what I do for my ground beef anyways. But what I do is I go, when it's Memorial Day or 4th of
Right.
July or Grill Day in Texas and it's like 98 cents a pound or $1.29 a pound and I load up.
We got the same idea, my friend.
Yep.
I got like 4 briskets in my freezer right now, and then
I
I
had
do
to
the
put
same
some
thing for
brisket
pork butt
back.
too.
Yeah.
I had to put some back because they're ringing up full price. I was like, "Excuse me, what's going on?" And they said, "Well, you can only buy 4." So I got to put these 6 back. Is that what you're telling me?
You bought 10 brisket?
No,
you're
no,
you're
okay.
that guy.
I elaborated.
Yes,
a
he
little
is
bit.
that guy.
I
I
will
exaggerated.
I will buy
but
2 from one location, and I'm a respectful purchaser. I will
Truth
buy
be told,
2 from another.
Truth be told, I exaggerated big time. I had 4. I had to put 2 back. There was a limit 2, so I got 2.
That's the one thing I don't like about the Costco is that all of those purchases are attached to
Dude, it's so expensive. Meat is so expensive.
They're all attached to the membership.
Yeah.
So if there's something like for us, it's baby formula, right? Because we've got an 11-month-old, and you get 2 things of the baby formula. Well, it's $20 cheaper per bucket of baby formula at Costco, but it's 2 per day. Well, if you go to one location, you buy your 2, and then you think you're going to go to another location, your membership card has already said that you bought your 2. So
it tells on
your
you.
Your
Who
membership
knew?
card.
That was-
They were like,
Who-
I was like, are you kidding me?
You're snitching
Like,
on you.
Like, no. Like, I drove like 10 minutes to get here. Now I got to go back and. Yeah,
Well, I have so many
that's it.
questions about cooking, but let's
Yeah,
get back
well,
to what else you're into.
No, I mean that's. I think that's
Okay,
unless it's
so
a
you
good
said
time.
you're gonna do a fall thing for this,
Yeah,
right?
so
So
I'm
when you
really
do the
excited.
fall, is it gonna be like seasonal brews and then seasonal like veggies and all that kind of stuff?
Gonna make like a
everything
pumpkin
is
soup?
everything comes up. Everything is every menu is originally done and thought about. I'll do the food first, and then they choose the brews to do. But I do also
As it
know that
should
there
go.
are certain brews coming down the line that we're going to pair and we want to pair. So, like September, Oktoberfest is going to be big. So this next dinner we're doing this, we haven't finished our summer series yet. We still have one dinner yet. Unfortunately, it's sold out. But well, unfortunately for all of you.
Yes, it's a good thing if you're planning it.
Unfortunately for you plebs, this is
next
sold
dinner-
out.
Yeah, no, if you're putting it on, it's good. It's fantastic news.
Yeah, for sure.
I was very excited about the adult kids menu because I thought if I can get away with that, then that opens the door for me to do anything.
Yeah.
So this next dinner is Pokemon themed.
Oh my god.
Oh, nice.
So every course is like, we've got a fire course. We've got a plant course. We've got a water course. We've got a psychedelic course. I have an electric course, and I have an earth course. Now, at the beginning, we called it elemental.
Yeah.
But now that it's sold out and I haven't even released the menu yet, I'm just going to go straight Pokemon.
Yeah, Pokemon.
This is
Pokemon's
Pokemon.
a good way to go.
I thought you were gonna have like roasted Pikachu or something like that.
The Susant of
Yeah,
absinthe
that's
glaze.
exactly
yes.
right. Who doesn't want yellow rodent for dinner?
So the Pikachu course is the electric course, actually. And I came upon this really interesting ingredient this summer. I have a friend, a colleague, I guess. His name's Jeff Bednar. He owns Profound Micro Farms. And great guy. He lives out in Lucas, Texas. Has a nice little
name.
micro farm. I think that's
knew it.
great name. And we were at
I hate
Thanksgiving at his place, which they do Thanksgiving in, I think it was in June or May. And all these chefs come together and we all bring a potluck dish. And, I brought some cider from the winery and brought some smoked
Did you bring your
meats.
bobblehead?
I did not, no.
He didn't want to cause
Didn't want
controversy.
to cause controversy at this Thanksgiving.
he learned his lesson.
So we're walking through the greenhouses, and he's like, "Oh, try this, taste this. It's got this flavor. Try this thing. You might not have had this sort of flour. Eat this flour. Eat this." And we came upon this thing called a buzz button, and I don't know the actual name of the flour, but he said if you eat it, it's like the equivalent of putting a 9-volt battery on your tongue. Like it has that sensation, and sure enough, it was
Interesting.
So I'm like. That was part of the start of the Pokemon idea. Is like I got to do an electric course
Yeah, it's like you're adding
with this.
It's like you're adding a thunderstone into your.
Yeah,
Into your recipe.
It's an insane thing, and it does. It totally takes over your palate, which is why it's scheduled for dessert. And the dessert is going to be a key lime tartlet with a passion fruit gelée on top, and then we're going to have some
buzz button.
buzz buttons that you'll eat, and then maybe some cream. I don't know yet. I don't know if we'll put it together. But the idea is to eat that buzz button, and then everything else is going to be like the Shock Tart candies that we had in the 90s that used to make your mouth bleed.
Oh man.
Oh yeah.
Remember those?
Dude, I loved those.
Oh, you eat
When
like
we would
5
go
of them, and you're like,
camping-
they're not too sour, and then by the 5th one, your tongue is bloody.
Yeah.
So the minute you put one on, it's like putting alcohol on a road rash.
I remember. It's like eating too much pineapple. It's kind of it's not the same, but it's
similar.
Like it ends up
Yeah.
kind of destroying your mouth a little bit. If
So
you eat
that's
too
the
much.
idea of this electric course is that. And we've got a flaming meatball for the Charizard course.
Oh, that's awesome.
So good.
It's going to be great. But yeah, so that one I'm pretty excited about. The coolest one, I think, and this one took some time to think of, we were trying to figure out how to do an air course. Like, how do we do air?
You just serve an empty plate.
You're
and,
right,
and
and
it's
I was like,
so
well,
bougie already,
maybe we
people won't complain.
Spray something into their face.
Oh, no, I love what the chef did here.
Yeah. What was it they did on Spaceballs? It was the canned air.
The canned air. Oh my gosh. You're onto something. We've got a cannulator. We could do canned.
I think you should.
Yeah.
I think you should.
Oh,
you
my
could call it
gosh.
President Scroobe's canned air.
That is so genius. Why didn't that come up? All right, I got to change the plan.
Yeah, there you go.
So the idea.
welcome.
Stop the presses.
Yeah. I haven't even put the menu out yet, so this could be.
We have time. Still.
big. This could be big. This is a big thing.
That's awesome.
The idea that we came up with, or that I came up with, was I thought I'm going to serve kind of like a blandish dish.
Right.
So we kind of rested on like deviled eggs, something that's like bland, doesn't really have much smell to it. Hopefully,
it's familiar.
Yeah.
It's simple.
It's familiar, simple, and then to hand out scented face masks to people.
Oh, I love it.
So that, we're all around this dinner table wearing like a rosemary and garlic scented face mask and eating our deviled egg. And
Do you get a facial at the same time?
You probably do.
hopefully there's no adverse
exfoliates.
reactions or something. I'm allergic to clove. I didn't know you were going to put this on my face. Chill out. It's just a face mask.
Do I look good?
You've been wearing it for 3 years.
You just pass around a little thing of doTERRA, and people just get to pick their own essential oil that they want to put on the mask.
Yeah.
The moms will all got
several
some in
different
my
masks
place.
through the course.
Hold my place. I got some.
But then it was also, I liked it because it was also kind of a commentary of like, hey, isn't it funny that, 3 years ago, this was the only safe place where people could sit down without a face mask was a dinner table, and now we're making
now
you
you're
We're
wear.
gonna make them do it. Yeah,
We're gonna make you
Except
wear
that
a
it
face
has holes in all of the areas that you'd want to cover.
But
Right.
also the thought too that
But don't you remember when people did that? Is that like I distinctly remember, because my wife and I just got married. We were at a restaurant and this person had a mask on that they had cut like a slit under one of the ribs, and so they could open up their mouth. And I was like, that's useless. They don't understand.
Canceled.
Yeah, they don't understand that just like totally defeated
Canceled.
the purpose.
Masks
when you
save lives. We don't talk about
when
that.
you made
Canceled.
a Muppet
well,
face
you could
mask.
sit down at a table, but if you raised yourself up 2 feet to walk to the bathroom, you had
He
put
can't
that
do
mask
that.
back on. 'Cause that's where the COVID lived.
It actually didn't affect me at all because I'm sub 6 foot. That
that's the
I
same.
never actually got high enough to get COVID.
He's
And
not-
Yeah,
so-
you could have made that argument. You could be like, look, I'm table height already.
The table height are
So-
like I get on the stool, off the stool. You can't tell. How do you know?
Yeah. We'll just do the Monty
Nice
Python
job.
funny
Thank
walk
you.
and
I
like,
Yeah.
I'm staying at
Just
table height. Don't worry, I'm
Stay
good.
low. Stay low.
I'm just gonna slowly walk,
Yeah.
crouch down.
So there is one other thing, and this is going to be a total shift in gears that I wanted to talk to you about before our time with you comes to an end, and that is
Chicken
We can do a
thighs.
part
Yeah.
2 if you want to.
Dude, I would love to do a part 2. If you want to save it for part 2, and you can just come back next week.
No, we could talk about it because I think it's important because we could end on that note.
Yeah,
and
let's
then we
do
could
it.
go further down the rabbit hole.
That
of crazy train.
I love it. Okay, so you mentioned earlier you are a conservative Christian guy. All of a sudden now you get these parts that are being given to you because they're wanting to do things that essentially like offend your faith, so they can say that you're turning down jobs, right?
Correct. Yeah. Yeah.
You say you lived up in the Northwest. You were involved in youth stuff. You come down here at 17 years old. You start voice acting. Where is it in the
Fell
journey of
away
Dave Trosko?
entirely.
Yeah. Where is it that God becomes like real in your life to now, you're giving away autographed Funko Pops at the church, at the small group White Elephant, because there's a lot that seems like it happens between point A and point B.
There was a lot
that makes a huge transformation in your life.
Yeah, I mean, moving to Texas was the last move that we made. I had moved around a lot as a kid, so I really got into the worldly notion, and I didn't want to be a Christian anymore, and I was very combative with my parents the entire time. And I remember going to college too, and then like I went to TCU.
Yeah.
Which the C is pretty much just stands for C now. I don't think it.
It's the C and TCU is in quotes.
It's Texas C University.
I think they call it Texas Construction University now because it's been in construction for so long.
Love that.
That was the joke.
C University.
I love it.
Boy, that could
I love it.
that could go terrible quickly.
Yeah. So I go there, and I don't know if my parents thought they were sending me to a Christian school or not,
Yeah.
but I fell away, faster than peeling skin off of a sunburned scalp. Like
I know
it
a little
was
something about that.
and
too.
I got aggressively against everything that my parents taught me.
Did you join
And,
Antifa?
No, there wasn't that back then. But
Yeah, I know.
I almost. I think I still voted for Bush.
It's too bad
back then. But I was like, I kept on threatening, like, I'm voting for.
No.
For what was it?
Gore?
Lieberman? Was it Gore Lieberman?
Oh, it would have been Gore Lieberman, and then after that, it would have been John Kerry.
No, it was that's what it was.
Pushing. I will.
It was
vote for
Kerry.
Kerry.
It was Kerry. I was like, I'm gonna vote for John Kerry. And
I like Heinz ketchup.
Yeah, John Kerry walked into a bar.
What-
Bartender says, "Why
wasn't
the
his
long
wife?
face?"
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, that's a hard one.
Yep. Anyway, so
Anyways,
that was your threat.
So that was my thing,
Was it
and
Hunt's ketchup?
I went away. We
Heinz. I got it right.
left TCU and then moved to Denton to go to UNT to finish my degree there.
Because you wanted to go to a more conservative school.
No, because
University of N, Texas.
I wanted to live in an apartment, and my parents kept on making me live in the dorms, and I'm like, you don't know how miserable dorm living is, and it was so miserable that I just gave up my scholarship at TCU and just gave up on college and was just like, I don't want to be here. And then I went to UNT and got an apartment.
Where were your parents from? You said you moved a lot.
They were both from California. I was born in California. We lived there for 8 years. And then we moved to Phoenix for a year, and then we moved to Washington. That's where I spent the majority of my adolescence, and then moved here when I was 15 or 16.
So how influenced by because in the 90s, you're in Washington. That is sort of the capital of grunge and all of that stuff.
We lived on the east side of the state, though. So Spokane was more like rednecks and
okay, gotcha. So
farmers.
you're outside of the city centers where those kinds of things would have likely had a larger impact on where you were growing up.
Yeah,
or your adolescence
we knew
there,
about
yeah.
it, but it was very small townish.
Yeah.
Even though Spokane is the biggest city in between Seattle and Minneapolis,
Sure.
It was still there was a lot of poor people. My dad, I think, made one of the largest salaries in the town at that time. And he was working for the Boy Scouts of America. He was.
Oh wow!
If they knew how much he was making, he probably would have been ridden out of town on a rail. But so we lived in a very affluent neighborhood,
right?
Kind of at that point. But kind of fast forwarding back to
UNT.
Yeah. Got involved in a lot of bad stuff. Got involved into some just with bad characters. In the theater scene there too, hyper liberal minded. And it was progression of downward spiral until I finally, I think I moved in with a dude in Dallas, and just became a raging alcoholic, going to the karaoke bars every single night, and just and then waking up at 10 every day, with no sleep and whatnot, and pounding a bunch of red lines and going back to work and just doing this thing. And it's a miserable existence.
Dude, pounding a red line makes for a miserable existence.
I was a two a morning guy.
Good grief, man.
That's how much I needed to get over the hangover hump.
Yeah.
But
that is the stuff, if you remember, Dan, that says on the can,
I don't
drink a
red line.
quarter.
Yeah, that you are supposed to build up a tolerance. You drink a quarter, and then you drink a half, and then you drink 3/4, and you're never supposed to exceed one full bottle. And even
in a day.
when I was bodybuilding, I was taking caffeine pills and all this stuff. I could never tolerate more than half a red line in a day, or it would just give me the jitters so bad, and I just felt sick. Two of those a day.
2 of those in the morning.
Ugh.
I would pound one, and then I would sip on one through my shift as a bartender at the restaurant.
Yeah, for the flavor.
Yeah, just to keep the buzz going.
Yeah,
and I think at the same time too, this is going to blow your mind too, I was also on Adderall.
Right.
It was a different drug than Adderall, but it was like Adderall. So, for my ADD.
Right.
Because I got ADD, right? No, you don't have ADD. You got a drinking problem.
my ADD really affects me whenever I've had a fifth wild turkey.
My ADD kicks in real bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you experienced, though? I have heard of a correlation with ADHD, which I understand.
Now
may
they're
not
the same
have.
thing.
But okay, well.
Yeah.
The
I
question I was
don't
going to
know.
ask is, you take a lot of caffeine and it can help control some of those symptoms.
Right. And I don't know what was when you're in the area of any sort of substance abuse. And it's I wasn't doing heroin or snorting coke or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
I was drinking, and occasionally a little bit of the marijuana.
Mm-hmm.
But it was it was a rough time. And when you're any of that, like, you don't know what's actually happening, but you do know that there's something wrong in your brain. And either you're trying to self-medicate or you're doing these other crazy things. The cool story comes, the start of it, I believe, of the redemption story is I moved to London to do a show for 3-4 months. And I left all
Was
of
this a theater
behind.
show?
It was a theater show. I was acting in London off of the West End. And it was a double header. So I had to really focus on the script, because it was just me and one other guy, and it was a long script, a lot of memorization, and it totally took my focus off of what I had been doing, and it gave me purpose, and it gave me drive, and then it ripped me away from America and all the things here, and it was cool. And then my girlfriend at the time, who is now my wife, flew over to London to come visit me, and that simple gesture that she showed me there was like, oh, like, I guess I am a worth person. I'm a person of worth to somebody.
Yeah.
Because during that whole period, I felt worthless. Like, my parents were mad at me, and it wasn't their fault. Like, I'd be mad at me too. And I just felt like I had made so many poor decisions and so many bad things that I just couldn't get away from it. And I think that's why I just completely downward spiraled in Dallas. And when I got out of that, I had this London trip for 3 months. I left like all of my medication at home. I didn't have the money to go out and drink, because I was making like £100 a week. I could just have enough money to eat.
Yeah.
So it kind of forced me out of this thing, and then the purpose, and then the self-actualization of being what it is to be a person of worth helped kind of pull me out really quickly. And then I came back here. I moved in with my girlfriend at the time, so we weren't Christians just yet, but we were on the mend. And then the testimony story is really. Do we have time for that? It's like
no, we gotta stop you there.
Yeah, there we go. I mean, I think this is
we have time.
This is a good part maybe for us to pick up into part 2. Okay. And if you're down for coming back next week, then I'd love it.
I think we have to, because I let people rest on the fact that I used to be an alcoholic. They're gonna be like, yeah. I've been thinking that for that long. No, there is redemption. There is redemption, and there's a lot of it, and it's God's grace. I truly believe that God claims people at an early age, and I was baptized when I was 11.
Yeah.
And I don't think that God, once you've done that in your conscious mind, even no matter how young you are, I do think that there's like a blessing on you, and how far you go away, the Father's always there for the prodigal son, and that's the story, and that's what we'll get into next week. I guess.
All that and next on next week's Rev and Rep. Dave, thanks so much for being on the show, man.
Yeah, man, it's been a blast.
It was fun. I can't wait to pick this back up and have you sign all of the
go buy your pops.
The
You've got enough
Mike
time.
Pops that I just did.
Yeah.
Yep. So thank you guys for watching. Y'all make sure to like, subscribe, ding all of those buttons. Be back at the channel same time next week.
Same bat channel.
Yep. So that we can pick up with
which Michael Uslan does not like.
The fabulous, the talented, the very handsome Dave Trosko. You guys stay hard, keep jamming, and we'll see ya.
Rock and roll.